Bye. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pricharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today morning we continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Chapter 7, Text 38. Now Brahmaji is enumerating all the incarnations of Krishna. Yarhi alayeshav api satam na hare kataha syuhu pasandino dvija jana vrishala nirdevaha swaha swadha vasad iti sma giro na yatra shastra bhavishyati kaler bhagavan yugante. Translation. Thereafter, at the end of Kali Yuga, when there exist no topics on the subject of God, even at the residences of so-called saints and respectable gentlemen of the three higher castes, and when the power of government is transferred to the hands of ministers elected from the low-born Shudra class or those less than them, and when nothing is known of the techniques of sacrifice, even by word, at that time the Lord will appear as the supreme chastiser. So purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of the worst conditions of the material world at the last stage of this age called Kali Yuga are stated herein. The sum and substance of such conditions is godlessness. Even the so-called saints and higher castes of the social orders, generally known as the Dvija Janas or the twice born, will become atheists. So Brahmaji is narrating to Narad Muni what's going to happen. Brahmaji, he's a pure devotee, so he knows what's going to happen in the future. He's telling him also what's going to happen at the end of Kali Yuga, that there will be no name of God. Till now, at least few people are still interested to know who's God. Few people are at least interested in chanting the names and glories of the Lord. But as this age progresses, well, for this 10,000 years, we have this golden years, golden age, which is the special benediction of Lord Chaitanya, where the names and glories of Krishna will be spoken, and they will be spoken in every town and village. So this is the golden age, and it is an opportunity for us to take the maximum benefit of hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord, because after this 10,000 years, then there is not going to be any chanting of the names of Krishna. There is not going to be any hearing and speaking from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. It's going to be all just godlessness. So whatever we are seeing right now with the modern civilization, all the bad things which we are seeing, it's going to be multiplied enormously. And even the people who will call themselves as Brahmanas or saints will not even know anything about God, and they will not act God in a godly manner. As such, all of them will practically forget even the holy name of the Lord and what to speak of his activities. The higher castes of society, namely the intelligent class of men, guiding the destinies of the social orders, the administrative class of men, guiding the law and order of the society, and the productive class of men, guiding the economic development of the society, must all be properly well versed in knowledge of the Supreme Lord, knowing factually his name, quality, pastimes, entourage, paraphernalia, and personalities. So we can see that how, because traditionally the way the society was divided is the Brahmanas, they are the spiritual masters. They would be the spiritual masters of the society. They would guide the general people about God consciousness, of how to live in this world while at the same time cultivating our spiritual knowledge. That they would give us the knowledge that whatever we are using in this material world does not belong to us. It's the property of Krishna, it's the property of God, and we are here just for a temporary time. And then the administrative class, the rulers, they would take the guidance from such Brahmanas, and they would rule the society in such a way that everybody would be peaceful in their material life, and so they can also have time, and they were provided facilities to increase the spiritual activities. And then the the productive class of people, the Vaishyas, they would all support the other classes with the money that they make. They would support the Brahmanas, they would pay proper taxes, they would support the Shudras. So like that, the society would be very godly, very God conscious. Everybody would know, everybody would be chanting the name and qualities, pastimes of the Lord, at the same time continuing their material duties. So the saints and the higher castes or the orders of the society are judged by their proportion of knowledge in the science of God or Tattva Gyan, and not by any kind of birthright or bodily designations. So a person does not become a Brahmana by just being born in the family of a Brahmana. We have to see what are his qualities. What does he speak? Does he speak about knowledge of God? Does he give this knowledge, proper knowledge of God, to everyone else? Such designations without any knowledge of the science of God and practical knowledge of devotional service are considered to be all decorations of dead bodies. So this is, when So somebody, they are just calling themselves, I'm a Brahmana, but not teaching people how to engage in devotional service, that who is God, how to connect in our loving relationship to God. And if they're just calling themselves as Brahmanas, then that is just a designation. They're not doing the duty of what they're supposed to be doing. It's a decoration of a dead body then. And when there is too much inflation of these decorated dead bodies in society, they develop so many anomalies in the progressive, peaceful life of the human being. Because of the lack of training or culture in the upper section of the social orders, they are no more to be designated as the Dvija Janas or the twice born. The significance of being twice born has been explained in many places in these great literatures. And again, one is reminded herewith that birth executed by the sex life of the father and the mother is called animal birth. But such animal birth and progress of life on the animal principles of eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating without any scientific culture of spiritual life is called the Shudra life, or to be more explicit, the uncultured life of the lower class of men. It is stated herein that the governmental power of society in the Kali Yuga will be passed over to the uncultured, godless, laborer class or classes of men, and thus the Nirdevas or the ministers of the government will be the Vrishalas or the uncultured, lower class of men of society. So in Kali Yuga, we are all born as Shudras. There is no more the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya class of people. The society doesn't exist. That Varna Sharma society doesn't exist anymore. We are all born as Shudras. And then when we are born, it is our responsibility to purify ourselves by getting in touch with the pure devotees and hearing and chanting the names of Krishna. Otherwise, we will remain on the animal platform of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Surely human beings have a greater facility of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, but the activities are the same. Then what is the use of having a human life, which the thing that sets apart a human body from an animal body is that we human beings have the intelligence to inquire, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? Who's God? What is my relationship with God? How can I get out of this material world? This is the intelligence which is given only to the human beings. The animals do not have it. But if we are going to use this human body to engage in the same activities as the animals engage in, then we are called no better than animals. Bhagavatam calls that. Sure, we all have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to mate, we have to defend, but we can't make that the focus of our life. Here the thing is that we have to be practical, not that, oh, I'm not going to eat at all because Bhagavatam says that. No, eat. Offer to Krishna and eat as much as you want. Sleep, of course, for the upkeep of the body, we need to sleep. And defend, we have to defend. Of course, we make money to defend ourselves. Mating, we all have this propensity to have a family life. That's okay. But we should remember that these are concerning to the body, and these are practical things which we need to do since we are in the body. But we also at the same time have to cultivate our spiritual knowledge, because we are, after all, not these bodies. We are the souls. So we need to, because that is the special privilege which is given in the human life, to engage in spiritual activities. So, but we can.
Yeah, true. Yeah, sorry. Just want to comment that, yeah, like whatever we do, but also that we see that we bring Krishna in the center of our life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And also, I wanted to find out what is Dvija Janas, the twice born. Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. So here is stated, right, that the first birth is animal birth, right? Because And then the second birth, when we get initiated, then that is Dvijajana, means twice born. You're born, yeah. So the Brahmanas were supposed to be the Dvijajanas, the twice born, because they would be getting the initiation, you know. But now, Srila Prabhupada, by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, they're giving this the opportunity to everybody. Everybody can become a Brahmana. It's not that only if you're born in the family of a Brahmana, you can become Brahmana. No, anybody can engage in spiritual life. Anybody can get initiated as long as they're following properly the principles, following the instructions of the spiritual master, chanting the 16 rounds, then anybody can get initiated. So to follow the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication, and chanting 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, can get initiated. And so here Prabhupada is also saying that Brahmaji, he predicted that the government heads, the people who are going to be ruling us, are going to be uncultured. They're Shudras. They would be Shudras. So they will not know how to rule. And we can practically see that that's happening. That's the reason there is so much unrest in the world, because we are letting our lower natures of anger, greed, envy take the better of us. And that's how we are ruling the world. You know, we can see the rulers are doing that. The symptoms of such uncultured social animals are already in vogue. And it is the duty of the leaders of men to take note of it and try to reform the social order by introducing the principles of twice-born men trained in the science of God consciousness. This can be done by expanding the culture of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world. In the degraded condition of human society, the Lord incarnates as the Kalki avatar and kills all the demoniac without mercy. So here is the prediction of Kalki avatar, that he's going to come and kill all the ungodly men in this world, because this age is going to deteriorate so much that it's going to be impossible for the godly people to live here also, because then there is no name of God being spoken. So when we are not being God conscious, what happens is our lower natures, envy, lust, greed, anger, arrogance, pride, they become very prominent. And then it's not a very peaceful situation, because then imagine each of us want to exploit each other. I want to enjoy you, you want to enjoy me. And so we have a competition, who can enjoy each other, who can exploit each other. So we can imagine, you know, we can see, of course, it's happening already. But we are still grateful that there is still the names of God being chanted. So text 39, Sarge tapoham rishayo nava ye prajeshaha sthane atha dharma makha manva amaravanishaha antetva adharma hara manyu vashasuradaya maya vibhutaya imaha purushakti bhajaha. At the beginning of creation, they are penance, myself, Brahma, and the Prajapatis, the great sages who generate then. During the maintenance of the creation, they are Lord Vishnu, the demigods with controlling powers, and the kings of different planets. But at the end, there is irreligion, and then Lord Shiva, and the atheist full of anger, etc. All of them are different representative manifestations of the energy of the supreme power, the Lord. The material world is created by the energy of the Lord, which is manifested in the beginning of the creation by the penance of Brahmaji, the first living being in the creation. And then there are the 9 Prajapatis, known as great sages. So initially we know creation, when Lord Brahma is created from the navel, the lotus flower of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Lord Brahma is sitting there and everything is dark and he doesn't know what he has to do. He doesn't know why am I here, what I have to do, how I have to do. So then he hears tapa, penance. So he sits in meditation for a long, long time. And then Krishna speaks the Vedas to him in his heart and gives him the knowledge of how to create. Because Krishna has already put all the material ingredients, but then Brahmaji is given the knowledge of how to put these ingredients together. As we can see practically, we have so many of these material elements, and we take these material elements, different, maybe glass or earth or water like that, and we put them together in the factory, something, and we make a product. So same way, Brahmaji was given the knowledge and he created so many beings. So initially, he created the 9 Prajapatis. Then in the stage when this creation, Prajapati means they were specifically endowed to populate the universe, because there is no population as yet at that time. So in the stage when the creation is maintained, their devotional service to Lord Vishnu or factual religion, the different demigods and the kings of different planets who maintain the world. At last, when the creation is preparing to wind up, then there is first the principle of irreligion. So when the Kal Yuga is supposed to finish, then we will see that how there will be only irreligion. And then Lord Shiva, along with the atheist, full of anger, will be there. But all of them are but different manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahadev Shiva are different incarnations of the different modes of material nature. Vishnu is the Lord of the mode of goodness, Brahma is the Lord of the mode of passion, and Shiva is the Lord of the mode of ignorance. So Krishna takes on these 3 incarnations, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. They are coming from him. And they are the, as we just read, that they are in charge of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So because Lord Brahma is in the mode of passion, he creates. Lord Vishnu is in the mode of goodness, he maintains. And Lord Shiva, he's in charge of the mode of ignorance. So he's given the duty of annihilation, of destroying. So ultimately, the material creation is but a temporary manifestation meant to give the chance of liberation to the conditioned souls who are entrapped in the material world, and one who develops the mode of goodness under the protection of Lord Vishnu has the greatest chance of being liberated by following the Vaishnava principles and thus being promoted to the kingdom of God, no more to return to this miserable material world. The purpose of this creation is for us to get out of this creation. The purpose of this creation is for us to realize that this is temporary place. It's not our permanent home. And then we are given this facility, this opportunity, because Krishna comes himself and he also sends his pure devotees, and he's given us this great Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So if we can take shelter of this, then we can get the perfection of life by following the principles of devotional service, of hearing and chanting, and we can make a permanent solution to our sufferings of our material existence. Is that okay?
Yes.
Text 40. Vishnur nu virya gananam katmo arhatiha ya parthivani api kavir vimame rajamsi chak chaskambha yasva rahasas khalata trisprishtham yasmat trismaya sadanad uru kampayanam. Who can describe completely the prowess of Vishnu? Even the scientists who might have counted the particles of the atoms of the universe cannot do so, because it is he only who in his form of Trivikrama moved his leg effortlessly beyond the topmost planet Satyalok up to the neutral state of the 3 modes of material nature, and all were moved. The highest scientific advancement of the material scientist is atomic energy. But the material scientist is not able to have an estimation of the particles of atoms contained in the whole universe. But even if one is able to count such atomic particles or is able to roll up the sky like one's bedding, even then one is unable to estimate the extent of the prowess and energy of the Supreme Lord. He is known as Trivikrama because once, in his incarnation of Vaman, he expanded his leg beyond the highest planetary system, Satyalok, and reached the neutral state of the modes of nature called the covering of the material world. So Brahmaji is saying that the material scientists, we are very proud that we have so much knowledge, we have done so much advancement, we have so much technology, we have so many facilities, you know, our quality of life, standard of living is so high. But Brahmaji is saying that the material scientists, even if they are able to count all the atoms of the universe, which is actually impossible for them to do, they can't find it. If they could have, they would have. But even if they are able to, they will not be able to understand the glories of Supreme Lord. Why? Because Krishna can be understood only by devotional service. That's he's independent. He reserves the right to not be exposed to atheists who do not believe in him. He says, you don't believe in me. You believe only in this Maya energy. So I'm not going to show you my personal self. I'll just show you this Maya. We are like that. People who are nice to us, kind to us, we open our heart to them. We tell them what we like, what we don't like. But if people are not, they don't like us, then we stay away from them. We don't show them our kind face. Right? So Krishna is like that. So then he's known as Trivikrama because as Vamandev, he took the 3 steps of land, and with one of the steps, his foot, it crossed the Brahmaloka planet, which is the highest planet of this universe. And then it touched the covering of this material world. There is a covering of the material world, and his toe touched that covering. And that's how Gangaji came to this material world. Because Gangaji, she's spiritual. She's coming from the spiritual world. There are 7 layers of material coverings over the material sky, and the Lord could penetrate even those coverings. With his toe, he made a hole through which the water of the causal ocean filters into the material sky. And the current is known as the sacred Ganges, which purifies the planets of the 3 worlds. In other words, no one is equal to the transcendently powerful Vishnu. He's omnipotent, and no one is equal to or greater than him. I mean, which human being, which of us can take a step and our step is so big that we can cover all the planets, even Brahmalok, and so much so that it can even pierce the coverings of this material universe, you know, of this whole material creation, that the water of the causal ocean where Mahavishnu is lying down, that water is coming down as Gangaji. And she's very pure because she's washed the feet of Lord Krishna. She washed the feet of Vaman Dev when she came down. So she's sanctifying all of us, purifying all of us. And Gangaji, she's flowing throughout the universe in all the planets. You see, she's purifying. She's not only on this earth planet, she's also flowing in the higher planets. And then she's going down to the lower planets. So that's why it's written all the 3 worlds. So who can do that? Only Krishna can do such things. We can't do it. And then we just artificially, we think we are God. But if we can just analyze what our activities and what our capability is, we can see, oh, wow, I can't do such things, you know. Is that okay?
Yes.
So we can stop here then. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhattavinda ki jai, Gaura Premanand, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you for